Hey guys, what's up? And welcome back to my channel. This is Breezy. I know that it has been quite a long time since we've seen each other. So today I actually just wanted to chat with you guys while getting ready about what's been going on and why I've been absent and kind of, how there's been a lot of new things that have happened and changes since the last time that I saw you guys a couple of months ago. And I apologize. I know that it kind of went abruptly. I had, not posted for a while and then posted one video and said I was going to start posting again, and then I didn't, and the follow through just wasn't there. So I just wanted to kind of come in today with complete honesty and what's been going on. I was pretty vague in the last video, so yeah, I figured we would get ready together. I'm going to be using the Shane Dawson and Jeffree Star Cosmetics Mini Controversy palette. I may touch into the Conspiracy palette as well, but I really haven't gotten to play with this palette as much as I've wanted to. And I'm really kind of feeling purple today. It's a little washed out, but my hoodie today is actually lavender, so I was kind of feeling that vibe today. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. If I miss any steps, it's because I am one, in a rush, and two, just kind of trying to chat through today. Maybe not do a super duper detailed, tutorial. So let me just get my hair out of my face and we'll just kind of talk about what's been going on. And I hate to kind of come on here with like a somber tone. It's just a matter of I really wasn't sure how to go about talking about this. I've been kind of putting off making this video only because I watch a lot of YouTubers, and when they do stuff like this, I'm always really annoyed when they just disappear and then come back oh, sorry, XYZ, this has been going on. I'm guilty of kind of I definitely want to fully support anybody and taking breaks and whatever, but for me, I've always been just push through it, deal with it, and that's just kind of how I was raised. But I have had a lot going on for a while that, even since before I started making YouTube videos, I had a lot going on. And so just to kind of talk about that a little bit, not a lot of, I look crazy. A decent amount of people know this, but some may not. I actually, in 2016, was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, specifically bipolar disorder type 2. And pardon me if I'm not 100% correct. I am not a psychiatrist by any means. But from what I know, the differences between bipolar type 1 and bipolar type 2 is, people with bipolar type 1, they are, they experience psychosis and, a lot of different moods and things like that. And although the moods and everything like that are the same or similar with bipolar type 2, it was initially known as bipolar depression, or manic depressive, and it still gets called that quite a bit. But a problem, or not necessarily a problem, but something that I've gone through with that is kind of a back and forth of, should I be medicated or not? And that sounds a little crazy. They're like, well, how do you not know? The problem is, a lot of times growing up, I grew up with a lot of kind of mental health shaming, I would say. It was kind of, I look insane. It'll be better eventually. It was very much either, it wasn't, meant depression or anxiety or whatever, none of it was real, which sounds insane in this day and age, especially to say that it's not real when there's so much proof that it definitely is. But by the way, I'm going in with the shade Exposed from this palette, this light lavender color. So, it's very much, I'm losing track. So I had a lot of, kind of mental health shaming or, medication shaming from a young age. And when I was younger, I started seeing a therapist and psychiatrist when I was about 13. I would say maybe 12. And by the age of about 14 and a half, 15, they were wanting to put me on antidepressants. And, you know, my mom at the time was very much against that, which, you know, understandably, looking back on it, I can see why. You know, I'm going through all these hormonal changes. No wonder I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling. And in retrospect, it really was the bipolar disorder. But how would I ever expect her to know that? You know what I mean? Like, especially since she, you know, obviously she's probably dealt with, you know, bouts of depression or going through things or whatever. But, you know, she's never really experienced this clinical depression. This is turning into like a whole, like, me talking about my childhood. But in retrospect, just kind of leading up to that, fast forward, I was on, you know, antidepressants for a long time when I was younger. I had a boyfriend as I got older who kind of really made me feel bad about taking medication. And, you know, why aren't you happy with me? Like, why do you still have to take medication? And so a lot of my life has been kind of like medication shaming. So I've always really, really just deep down wanted to be able to not have to take medication. And that's kind of all there is to it. I've always wanted to not have to take it. And, you know, for me, that's just not the case. What this is really leading up to is, once I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and if you ever want me to kind of talk about like how I was diagnosed and, you know, kind of like my mental health journey and everything like that, I can do that. You know, I can make a whole dedicated video to that. But, you know, I was medicated, and I was, you know, going through the proper treatments. I was going through therapy. I was going through all this stuff to, you know, ultimately be successful in my mental health journey. And I was doing really, really great for a long time. And, you know, it worked for me, and that's kind of all there is to it. And then I kind of crept back in of this kind of, and there was, you know, not a whole like particular reason why, but there, you know, that kind of medication shaming or whatever that I've kind of instilled in myself, as you know, no matter how hard I try to fight it, it's still there, you know. And so basically what ended up happening was I ended up making a manic decision to try to go off of my medication. Without informing my doctor, I just flat out stopped seeing a psychiatrist, which is an awful, horrible idea. Never, ever do that, ever. But that's what I did. And I was off of my medication for about 8.5 months. So quite a long time. And so I had been kind of feeling the symptoms and everything like that of, you know, bipolar disorder. And I've been feeling, you know, really down and manic at times and making rash decisions and all kinds of crazy stuff. And, you know, it's just kind of, it comes with the territory, as shitty as that is. And so basically, you know, I ended up having a fucking breakdown. I mean, not to the extent that I did in 2016 for sure. And I can talk more about that. But I had a fucking meltdown. And it also didn't help, you know, my cousin who I was extremely close to, he died. And I think just with that and everything else, I just kind of went into like a spiral. And that's why I kind of just like disappeared. And I have taken a medical leave from work. I am still off of work. I've been off of work since mid-November, which is another thing that I haven't really told a lot of people about. I took a medical leave from work to get back on my medication and focus on going back to therapy, and thankfully enough, I was able to do so, especially with the support of my husband, who's been amazing. Especially in the beginning when, you know, there was like no pay, or, you know, for the first like 2 weeks or so. And that all got sorted out or whatever, but still, you know, I've been going through a lot of stuff, and it's not an excuse to just kind of like disappear. It's not. But that's just kind of background, and not a lot of people have known that was going on. I haven't told a lot of people, even people like in my family and stuff like that don't know that I've been, you know, like off of work or whatever. Cause normally, again, I've been kind of raised with this, you know, power through it mentality, and, you know, just get through it, work through it. And, you know, in this case, I couldn't, and I had to take a break. Otherwise, I was literally just going to dive off the fucking deep end. I mean, I kind of did dive off the fucking deep end, but you know what I mean. So yeah, that's where I've been. And if you want me to talk more about, you know, my whole entire mental health journey and, you know, what I've been through, and, you know, I mean, I don't know that necessarily I should go through like medications. I don't know if you're like allowed to do that. I may be wrong. But for me, you know, I've found what works for me, and I'm working through my shit. I mean, that's all there is to it. I'm working through it. I'm trying really hard to be the best that I can be. And in regards to kind of where I'm at in 2020, I have, well, you know, I finished out 2019, obviously, in a kind of dark place, but, you know, focusing on trying to improve that. And so I finished out the year there, did, you know, Christmas and all that fun jazz. And now for 2019, you know, I'm really focusing on my mental health. You know, that's kind of how I finished out last year, and that's how I wanted to start this year, is I want my mental and physical health to both be kind of my like primary focus. I started going back to the gym, which makes me feel really good. And not even just in like a New Year's resolution type of way. Like I permanently, you know, I felt really good when I used to go to the gym, you know, almost, not every day, but like 5 days a week. I felt really good when I was doing that, and I've missed it for a long time. I just haven't, you know, with everything going on, I haven't had the energy to really do it. I mean, honestly. And so now I'm working on it. I'm working on being better. And, you know, it's not even really, obviously weight loss would be great just for my health. But I've kind of come to terms with my body, and that's been like a long journey. So if you want me to talk about that too, I can do that. I look crazy because I'm trying to not let my concealer crease. And so, yeah, I've just been really focusing on me and my health, both physically and mentally. I think it is really important, and I kind of let my mental and physical health go, you know, in more ways than one, which is not great, but, you know, it is what it is. Shit happens, and it's just a matter of getting back on the right track. So that's where I've been, and I plan to definitely be back. You know, I'm not gonna kind of go out and say that I'm gonna have a regular posting schedule. I would love to do that. But, you know, just kind of setting realistic expectations for myself. I wanted to come back with a video like this and just kind of talk about everything and where I've been at and how I feel, you know, all that good stuff. So in case you've been curious, where, you know, I've had a lot of questions about, like, why'd you go MIA? And the truth of the matter is I had to. I mean, I really genuinely felt like I needed to do that. I feel like I sped through that whole thing like really quickly. So like if I missed anything or if you have questions or whatever, like comment that down below. I'm going to throw in some winged eyeliner really quickly, and then I will hop right back with you. Alrighty, I'm back, and winged eyeliner is on. Now time to do my base. I'm going to go in with my favorite, which is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation in Soft Ivory. I put way too much on. But yeah, so, you know, it's just been a weird couple months. I mean, that's all there is to it. I feel like you know, I was already kind of just like going through it, and then everything just started happening. But on a positive note, I am, like I said, back in the gym. We just got a new puppy, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, things are good. Things are, you know, looking up, and nothing but positive things from here. I have more kind of positive news that I can kind of talk about in a couple weeks. I'm not pregnant, as much as I wish I was. Well, actually, kind of another thing from that, you know, going back on a more depressing note. I went to an OBGYN recently, and, you know, my husband and I have been kind of on and off trying to, like, not really, like, avidly trying to conceive, but we're not trying, if that makes sense. Like, we haven't done any testing or anything like that as of yet, and that's kind of how this whole thing started. Was I was going to just kind of get checked out and, you know, see if, or like what my OB said. And, you know, I've dealt with some like hormone issues before, a lot being linked to like a birth control that I was on for a long time. And so I kind of just attributed it to that. You know, they say like, oh, after you're off this birth control, it takes like 2 to 3 years to conceive. But then, you know, once it had been like basically like 5 years about since I had been off of the birth control, I was like, okay, maybe it's not, you know, maybe it's not that's causing it. So anyway, I went to my OB. And she basically told me that I have a tilted uterus, which can stunt, but isn't like a big deal. Like a lot of people have that. But I also have, possible ovarian cysts, and, a possible blockage, like a scar tissue blockage in one of my fallopian tubes, which first of all, I hate that word. But yeah, so she said that a lot of that could have to do with, you know, me trying to conceive, and I'm not getting pregnant. And, you know, I had kind of just attributed it to possible hormones, thinking that, you know, that's a relatively easy fix. You know, you take hormones and call it a day and whatever. But, you know, it seems like it's going to be a little bit more complicated than that, which isn't great news, but at least we know what could be, you know, causing the issues. So it's been a tough couple months. I mean, to be 100% honest, it's been really hard. But anyway, back on the positive note, I'm just going to keep going back and forth between negative and positive. I, you know, have been working out. We got a new puppy, some adult excitement. My husband got me a new washer and dryer set, a front loading washer and dryer set, which I'm really excited about, because I am short, and it just makes my life really easy that I'm not reaching down into a washer. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm wearing contacts right now, which is also kind of a new thing. I don't wear them on the daily. I actually much prefer my glasses, but when I'm doing, like when I want to wear fake eyelashes is when I really like to have the contacts, just because if you wear glasses and you've ever tried to wear fake eyelashes with them, you know how it's not impossible if you have the right pair, but it is really obnoxious. And, you know, sometimes you want certain lashes for certain looks, and if you're planning on wearing glasses, you can't really wear those. So that's different, but I'm also, like, hyper paranoid about, like, getting stuff, like, in my eye with the contacts in. And earlier, I went to, I had forgotten to change out, like, the contact, like, fluid in the little, like, container or whatever. So I went to switch that out, because I had forgotten to do it last night. And I had just, like, sat the contacts on, like, the cap of, the, like, container thing or whatever. And I can't tell, and I think it's just paranoia, but I couldn't figure out which one was which. So I kind of just guessed in putting them back in, like, the container thing. So, you know, doing great. But I feel like they're right. So on a more positive note, what are your guys' kind of like New Year's resolutions? What are your goals for 2020? And, you know, not even just 2020, but like the whole new decade. You know what I mean? Like for me, I am very excited that it's just like, I don't know. And I know that it's all kind of like mental. You know what I mean? Like I know that obviously if I don't change something, it's all going to be like the same, you know, same shit. But I am very excited and happy about the idea of like a fresh start. For me, it just makes me feel good, and makes it easier for me to be more positive. I've never understood people who like hate on people with like New Year's resolutions. I've never understood that. Like, you know, people are like, oh my God, I can't wait for these New Year's people to get out of the gym. Like, who cares? Like, if someone's trying to like get their crap together, you know what I mean? Like they're trying to do what's best for them and their body, and maybe that's not necessarily losing weight, but maybe someone wants to tone up, or you know, someone needs just more physical activity because you're supposed to have that, you know, like why make somebody feel bad about that? I just don't get it. I've never understood that. I've always very much been really excited at the beginning of the year, every year, to, you know, work on myself. And, you know, a lot of times do I stick to it for, you know, 8 or 9 months, and then the holidays come around and I kind of say screw it and then start fresh again at the beginning of the year? Yeah, but you know what? I'm a human and we're all human, and if you do the same thing, you're not alone, you know. And if you're doing anything to try to improve either your physical health or your mental health, or, you know, just whatever, I don't get why anybody would ever kind of hate on you for that. You know what I mean? Like, why would you hate on somebody for bettering themselves? I just don't get it. But for me, kind of like I touched on a little bit, you know, earlier, I really this year am focusing on my mental and physical health. And I know that, you know, a lot of people say that every single year, and you know, I'm gonna freaking stick with that resolution because I think it's a good one. And I think that every single year, if you want to use the beginning of the year as a fresh start to kind of hone in on focusing back on yourself again, because with the holidays especially, we can kind of get wrapped up in caring about everybody else and taking care of everybody else. Especially, I mean, and I don't want to play like the I'm a woman card, I don't, but especially as women, you know, like we are, you know, at least me in like this society or whatever, I'm always programmed like I need to take care of people, you know what I mean? Like that's just how it is, that's how my family is, and maybe not everybody thinks that way, but it gets exhausting when you are trying to take care of everybody else and you're not really taking care of yourself. Eventually, you know, you have a meltdown and you take leave from work. Sorry, that's not funny, but it is funny. And also, sorry, this tutorial or whatever is just like not in depth at all. I'm just kind of like doing whatever, right? I'm just glad to be back on here and talking to you guys because I really have been missing doing videos. I have, and you know, but I've also been like hyper paranoid. I'm like, I can't just like come back and do just like a random tutorial and not talk about anything. Like everybody's gonna be like, what the hell? She's just gonna come on here like she hasn't just been gone for months. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And you're right. You're absolutely right. Alrighty, now I am going in with the Morphe X Jeffree Star Set and Refresh Mist. I love this stuff. It doesn't like, I mean, it smells like strawberry, but also to me, it smells like something and I don't know what it is. Someone said that it smells like Red Bull. I can kind of see that. It kind of smells like the tropical Red Bull. I just realized that I had my bathroom door open that whole time. Sorry that you had to see my shower curtain. Now I'm going in with the Becca Shimmering Skin Perfector in Pearl. Just like a little tiny bit because this stuff is intense and also kind of light on me right now. Not really. I think sometimes I think I'm like tanner than I am. I mean, I always think that. But, you know, What person that does makeup doesn't think that? I mean, like, I just want to be bronzed and perfect. But also I enjoy being pale to an extent. So, you know, I'm just a walking contradiction. I like to do my setting spray first and then my highlighter. I just feel like it makes my highlight pop a little bit more. And I also like to do my setting spray before I do my mascara, just to prevent any like dotting or whatever. Now I'm going to take that same highlight and I'm going to highlight my brow bone with that. I've been kind of into like purples and like more like cool tones and stuff lately, which is different. I feel like my brain automatically wants to like warm tones more, just because I feel like, and I hate to say this way, but like a lot of times that's kind of like what like beauty gurus or whatever kind of push, you know, they like, and don't get me wrong, I love a warm tone, you know what I mean, like I do, but I also feel like a lot of the times that's what I automatically kind of buy is warm tones, so I don't really get to experience cool tones or purples as much. You know, I am all for like, I'll buy a maroon and orange palette over like a purple palette any day, and now I'm starting to realize that I really like purple. I do. It's one of my favorite colors. I don't know why I ever like, you know, didn't really, you know, it's not that I haven't done purple eye looks before, it's just like, I don't know. Okay, I'm just like all over the place. I'm gonna throw in a little bit of mascara. This is the Benefit Bad Gal Bang mascara. I've been really into this lately. It's a light coating because I am gonna wear falsies today. For me, my eyelashes, if you ever have trouble putting on falsies, my eyelashes are so curly. I have to like brush them down first. Like I get the coating of mascara just so it blends better, and that they're all black, because I do have blonde eyelashes. Yay for being a ginger. But I coat them and then brush them down a little bit, and then I'll go back in and blend them with the lashes. If you're having trouble getting lashes on, that might help. I'm no expert, but that's just kind of what works for me. So. Now I'm gonna pop on some lashes. I think I'm gonna do these Kiss Rosé lashes right here. They're pretty like fluttery. I was thinking about doing the Gala ones, but those look pretty intense. But also I kind of want to wear them. I don't know. No, I'm gonna do the rosé ones just to, you know, wear them. So I'm gonna pop those on real quick and then I will be right back. Alrighty, so I have popped on lashes and mascara. Now I'm just finishing up. Oh, I also did my underneath of my eye with the same shadows that I used on top, as well as a white liner. Actually, let me touch this side up a little bit. And then I'm going to finish it off with some bottom lash mascara. And so this is the finished look. The last thing I'm going to do is just go in with a teeny tiny bit of the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in BFF. Then I'm going to go over that with the Ultra Glossy Lip in Fairy Floss. Alrighty, and so that is going to be the finished look for today. I am glad that I got the chance to catch up with you guys. If you do have any questions about like mental health or anything like that, feel free to drop a comment down below, or if you have me on social media, you can also message me directly. If you'd like to see videos specifically on like my mental health journey, what I've been through, you know, and possibly even like medications or anything like that, please let me know. I'd be more than willing to do a video on that. I do plan to post more in the future. And again, I apologize for my kind of abrupt absence, but yeah, I am looking forward to 2020 and all that it holds, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.